even with these frightening characters hitting the streets, Halloween is not the scariest night this October.
An orderly liquidation is in the interests of every other bank. This isn't just Wall Street's problem. To dump all Lehman's assets at once would depress the market worldwide. Just listen to Alan Greenspan, the former head of the US Federal Reserve.
This is a once-in-a-half-century, probably once-in-a-century type of event.
Is it the worst you've ever seen in your career?
Oh, by far.
President Bush promised the $700 billion rescue plan is a big step towards solving the financial crisis.
And it's going to take a while.
The president said that again.
But it's going to take a while.
And again.
It's going to take a while to restore confidence in the financial system.
Nobody knows at all how we go through a recession with so much government debt. We're trying experiments with the economy on a scale nobody has ever done it.
The real reason why in our world today, where there is no technical reason whatsoever why there should be any poverty at all, the reason it still exists is people keep asking the question, where's the money going to come from? Not realizing that money doesn't come from anywhere and never did. Money is something of the same order of reality as inches, grams, meters, pounds. It is an abstraction. It is a method of bookkeeping to obviate the cumbersome procedures of barter. But our culture, our civilization, is entirely hung up on the notion that money has an independent reality of its own.
If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is your answer. Your answer. Your answer. Your
central document for Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin white paper, famous Bitcoin white paper, which was written by Satoshi Nakamoto, which is a fake name. Bitcoin was actually evaluated by Dan Kaminsky, who is a top internet security analyst, and he looked at the code and he said this was written by a world-class programmer. He could find no major security flaws, and he said it looked like it had also been evaluated by a third party and that it had had some input from quants, like finance nerds who work on Wall Street. So Satoshi was very visible in the beginning of Bitcoin. No one from the Bitcoin community had actually met him or her, but he was posting on forums and emailing with people, especially with Gavin Andresen, this guy who's trying to set money on fire, who is the lead developer on the Bitcoin project.
As far as I know, no one has actually met Satoshi. No one knows who he or she or they are. I've never talked with Satoshi, although I have communicated with him electronically by email or on online forums.
You met him in the forums?
Yeah, I met him in the forums. I sent him a message saying I thought Bitcoin was really cool and how can I help? And then I did this famous website called the Bitcoin Faucet, where I started giving away Bitcoins. I gave away 10,000 Bitcoins.
Did you really?
And then he kind of stepped back, pulled a fast one on me, and kind of pushed me forward as the face of the project.
So he actually said, this guy Gavin.
He never explicitly said that, although what he did was he asked me if it'd be okay if he put my email address on the Bitcoin.org homepage.
That's pretty cool.
And I said, okay, and then he took his email address away. So suddenly I was getting all of the... Satoshi started working on Bitcoin, he says, in 2007. And it actually took him a couple of years to convince himself that he could actually create a system that would work. It would solve this problem of how do you create a money where there's no single person or organization or government in charge. He started posting to a cryptography mailing list where he described kind of at a high level how it would work and started to get feedback from people on his idea.
Imagine if my self-driving car pays your self-driving car 0.0004 BTC to let me pass. I think capitalism as we know it is going to get a pretty radical shakedown. So I think money is going to have I would say less of a role in the future. Will it still have a role? I think definitely yes. Simply because there are lots of sort of large-scale resources who gets to mine some major asteroid or whatever. You need some mechanism for deciding that. But sort of on the smaller scale, I do see money becoming less relevant. So I think Bitcoin is in some regards a transition technology.
discovered Bitcoin, I realized that without exaggeration, this is the most important invention in the history of the world since the internet. It's going to change the entire planet.
And you have 7 billion people in the world. Many of them don't have computers. Many of them don't understand Bitcoin. Most of them don't want to hear that. They want trust.
Whether or not Bitcoin is successful long term, nobody knows, but we will have virtual currencies and we will have decentralized currencies.
I've been following this kind of development of Bitcoins for the last few months. And I think I'm only starting to wrap my head around the potential upside, downside, regulatory issues, monetary policy issues, taxation issues, consumer protection issues that this innovation represents.
If you want to say the things that happened in 2014, the sharing economy went mainstream. I think crowdfunding also has become mainstream. And another thing happened in 2014 is that Bitcoin went out of favor. Bitcoin was all the rage a year ago, and now nobody's talking about it. I think that, and I'm biased here, but I think that Bitcoin is continuing to grow and develop, now a little bit under the radar. And I think what's even more important is that the underlying technology that Bitcoin was built on top of, which is called the blockchain, is emerging as a very important piece of technology that can power other things.
The Bitcoin technology is key, and you could add to it, or you could build a similar technology where there's enough attribution that people feel comfortable. This has nothing to do with terrorism or any type of money laundering.
The thing I am quite confident about is that the cryptocurrency concept itself is going to become really vitally important. I think it will be in the form of Bitcoin, but even if it's not Bitcoin, it will be something else. And even if it's not this year, it'll be in 5 years or 10 years, like it will happen, and it will be a very big deal. It is a true advance in technology. This is also the way to think about it, which is Bitcoin may or may not work. And frankly, I don't think anybody knows one way or the other. But if it does work, it could be profound, right? It could be profound and revolutionary and gigantic. What we say from our standpoint is in the long run, Bitcoin is by far the most innovative and radical thing. Like it's the thing that will actually have a big impact over 20 years. But Apple Pay is the thing that's going to have a big impact in the next 3 years. And the combination of those two is going to cause enormous change.